Greetings, I am Tekkrr.
Greetings, Tekkrr.
How is everyone doing today?
Very good. How about you?
I'm doing very well. I am here because I've heard my name being requested, and I do have some information. But please ask questions first, and then I will do what I have to say.
Okay. All right. I will start. First, I would like to know what's going on with the holographic.
The holographic is not being used at this time. There's too many defects in it for it to be viable, because actually when people do come to the colonies via the holographic, they still do not remember as much. So therefore, we are waiting for the site-to-site to be approved. This will be the best method. We know that you will remember from that. But of course, first contact hasn't come, and the governments are very much against people leaving the planet or us coming down. So we're still discussing that. The talks between August 1st and 3rd are going to be very important about this.
Okay, so you have no resolution yet as to when or how?
We know how. There is site-to-site available already, and there are some species that are illegally doing site-to-site, or doing site-to-site with permission and in certain spots for particular reasons. However, for our mission, the site-to-site with average American people has not been approved.
Okay. All right. And in that, go ahead.
Site-to-site has been approved for special cases, including some with the military and some with special groups and interest groups to the government. But when it comes to the masses, they are not willing to have the masses leave the Earth or have aliens appear in front of the regular average individual.
Okay, so why was that approved and not, let's say, for the people who are sick?
We are trying to do that first. We found that they do have some interest in bringing those who are not well to the ship to have them healed. However, they only want to do government officials or those that are family of government officials. This is not acceptable. If we are going to start healing people, we would like to heal everyone, not just government officials. It is not fair that they who have power and prosperity be the ones that only get the healing. So we have been telling them that that is not acceptable.
Okay. The other.
It must be approved for all people.
Yes, because that would be my comment, that it really should be approved for all people, because I can see that staying that way, because they will be getting what they want, and a bargaining chip would be lost there.
Yes, but right now, if you are noticing, more leaders are becoming more sensitive about alien contact. They realize something must be done shortly. There are too many species around the planet for them to ignore. There are too many ships, too many sightings, and too much information coming in for them to ignore the fact that aliens must be recognized and the people must be told. If it comes to the fact that contact comes before the governments are going to tell the people, they will look foolish, and therefore they must start to soften the information so that the people will start to know that we exist and that we are here in a friendly capacity and not here to take over or invade. There will be those that will come to the planet to try to do these things, but your planet is so populated with different species at this time that would be an impossibility. Others would step in and stop them. So at this point, only the very best of the alien species would be those that would contact you, we believe. Now, if there's covert action from negative beings, we are not aware that they are even planning anything because they feel outnumbered.
Okay. On that note, Tekkrr, I want to ask if you could say where the colonies that you have, the 6 colonies, I believe.
6, yeah.
Where are they located, each one of them?
They're located on the ships around the planet. However, ERA has a shadow version of each of these colonies. The only difference is that the ERAN version of each of these colonies are only for specific people that they are training privately. They have not opened it to all the public. This has changed within the last 3 months. They were open for all the public, but now the shadow colonies around ERA are only open for specific individuals that will be working specifically with ERAN. So that has changed. But the 6 colonies, Colony 1 is telepathy and languages, Colony 2, health and education of health, diet, things of this nature. 3 is the video colonies where they're making the films and the movies. 4 is the channeling colonies where you learn and are able to open your channeling areas. 5 is the entertainment area where you go to relax, to chat, or to be entertained. And 6 is the healing colony with healing energies and healing modalities such as Jo-Ray, Reiki, Holy Fire, acupressure, acupuncture, many of the others.
Okay.
Galactic Reiki is also being experimented with there.
So Girk Fitneer doesn't have any colonies on any planet on the solar system?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
They've decided to make them on the ships.
Okay.
There's more than one Colony 1, and there's more than one colony. Each colony is duplicated on the ships because there are so many people going to the ships. You need more Colony 1s and more Colony 2s, etc. So all the ships, there are 15 ships around your planet that are of Girk Fitneer. So there are more than one Colony 1 and more than one Colony 2, etc.
Okay. My next question was about I know that a ship crashed in Arizona.
Yes.
And I was wondering what you could tell us about that, and since we haven't heard anything about it.
When the ship crashed, it was brought down suddenly. So there was not much information given before the actual crash. But we know that there were Greys involved in the crash. I do not know if they were meaning to cause the crash or if it was accidental. This information has not been brought forward. There has been some casualties with this crash, but we do not know a great deal about it because your governments swarmed in and took over pretty much. The communication system on the ships were badly damaged because it happened to crash in a way that that part of the ship was very badly damaged. Do you understand? So
yes.
We've gotten some information But most of the information that we have gotten is from sources within the government of your government, that we have perhaps some people that are connected with us there. And so the information is that there were at least a few fatalities, and that this is very top secret, and that it is being dealt with in a way that is probably not as good as we would want it to be. However, we know this. There are still some that are alive, and there are those that are trying to communicate with your governments about what has happened and trying to find a way back into friendly space.
Okay, because I saw one of the ones that died, and I know that they captured some.
Yes.
And I believe the crew was between 3 or 5. I'm not sure about
Yes,
that.
it was a small crew. It was a small ship. Yes.
Yes. Now, are you negotiating? Are you going to try and negotiate with them to release the ETs that were captured?
We have been in contact with some officials in that area, but they are not saying that, they are not actually admitting that there are any survivors.
Okay.
But we know that they are, because information from inside some of these facilities tells us that there are at least 2 to 3 survivors.
Yes, I think there's 3.
So therefore we know that they are not telling us the truth about that. They said that all passengers had passed. However, we know that that is not true.
Yeah, because I was forewarned about it.
Well, we also let them know that we found vital statistics and life signs of some of the survivors, and so therefore we let them know, and they did not respond to that.
Okay. All right.
So we are working with them. We are sending friendly messages, of course. Nothing threatening, nothing of a warning of any kind. We are being as friendly as possible. We do want our survivors back. They are not actually from the Girk Fitneer project or alliance, whatever you want to call it, but they are from friends. They are friends.
Yes, and they're good ETs, and I think.
Yes, they are not. They are not of negative.
No, they are not. So I think it is important that we do whatever possible to help them.
We sense that they are frightened and that they are confined.
Okay.
This is the information that we have so far.
All right. Yeah, because I saw it. And I don't know if you can speak of near where it is.
It is not necessary to speak of where, but because we do not want people rushing there or going there. This would only cause more problems.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you about a ship that was, well, a cloud, quote unquote, that was seen over at Cartagena, Colombia.
Yes.
It was huge.
Yes. I am surprised they got that close to the Earth's surface. But it was a mother ship, yes, but not ours. It was a circular ship, so therefore you know it was not ours.
Right. And whose ship was that? Can you tell us?
I am not allowed to divulge that information because it would put them in danger.
Oh, okay. Then don't say it. I don't want anyone in danger. But I think it's exciting, and actually, Lainey was wondering if that was like the Mandela effect. somehow.
It was caused by the Mandela effect. We believe that fourth dimensional energy is increasing exponentially. So therefore, we have moved farther out into the galaxy, not to be close to it, because we are fourth dimensional, and the fourth dimensional fluctuation would definitely affect us, and we want to remain as calm and positive as possible. So therefore, we are much farther away at this time. However, we are still monitoring and able to communicate with Earth in a very positive and natural way so far.
Okay, and then there was also a slip by the EU president about speaking to leaders of other planets. Yeah.
Yes, we heard that and were quite surprised. The news traveled very quickly to us because he was talking about our times of talking to Earth. And one is coming up very shortly in August, and he was referring to the communications that we had had just recently about that particular council.
Oh, so was that a Mandela effect, or he just slipped?
It was a slip.
Okay, very good. I'm just too excited. I'm excited about this to occur because it tells us that we're getting closer.
It would appear so, yes. I believe the fourth dimensional energy that is coming will help bring things a lot closer to first contact, because first of all, people will be seeing things that they have never seen before and be questioning what this is and why they are seeing it and what is happening, because timelines will be pulled much closer together. There's also already been many changes in your historical lines, your fourth dimensional music and literature lines, etc. So as fourth dimensional subject matters are involved, things that were inspired by fourth dimension will be the first things that will change.
Yes, because even our president is softening the language on the existence of life outside this planet.
It's been mentioned by more than one of your presidents. However, people are now starting to take note of it in a more real way. President Clinton mentioned it as well.
Yes, but Obama's language lately, he was even questioned by a little girl.
Yes. And his answer was quite telling, actually.
Yeah.
Not so much to the little girl, but to the audience and the general people around.
Exactly. So, anyways, I can't contain my excitement. Thank you, Tekkrr.
Would you like to speak to someone else now?
I think there is a question by Slava.
Slava.
Yes.
And I did not get my. That is true.
Okay, and then Wendy's going to ask them, since she's been keeping track.
Hi, Tekkrr. Hi, Tekkrr. It's Wendy. How are you today?
Wonderful, Wendy. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for coming today. We just have a couple of questions from the first one's from Slava, and he was wondering if he'd like to ask about his Lyran daughter, 𝗂𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, and I wonder how old she is or when she was born, and if it is possible, could you please tell me about her? And then he did have a second part too as well.
She is one of the newer children. She was born in May. I'm not sure the exact date, but she has been born in May. She is beautiful. She is gifted. She is already starting to respond to some intellectual stimulation, and I cannot really give a whole lot of information because Sengi has all that, but I do know about her, and that all of his children seem to be exceptional.
Excellent. Oh, and speaking of Sengi, could you just maybe elaborate just a minute on how we, those of us like Slava who want to ask questions, can we just direct them telepathically to 𝐂𝐚𝐧𝐬 and get the answers for ourselves?
Yes, call 𝐂𝐚𝐧𝐬 and she will work with you.
Okay, great.
I have already spoken to her, and we have already made some plans on how we can better help humanity understand what is happening to their hybrid children.
Excellent. And that was actually part of my other question, but I'll ask that after Slava's. He also wanted to know that, and at the beginning of this week, I believe I have interesting visitation. It was at the night from Monday to Tuesday. It was two beings. I remember they spoke on their language, but I immediately heard translation in my language. Could you please tell about this visitation? Thank you very much.
Yes, they were talking to you. You heard the interpretation in your language because they wanted to communicate their friendship to you. These two beings were from the Andromedan area. Andromeda is becoming much more involved in the Ascension just recently. Now, in Andromeda you find less humanoid people than you would find in other galaxies. In the Andromedan galaxy, the reason that more reptilians and less humanoid people exist is because they survived a highly radioactive period when the galaxies collided, and so therefore the species that rose up afterwards were not humanoid, or less of them were humanoid. And so these are species that are wanting to communicate and find ambassadors to their planets, and they're looking for people that have DNA that would be helpful or compatible with their atmospheres and with their species. And they have found that Slava has some DNA in him from one of these species, and they are trying to just be friendly and communicate before they talk to him about an ambassadorship.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tekkrr. That was a great answer. In general, I wanted to ask about how the children are doing, and how many are there now? About how many?
There are over 300 hybrid children, well over 300, and in fact it's probably 350. I don't know exactly how many, but they're on 𝗂𝗓, Maya, and a couple other planets. Some ships have taken some of the children's and families as well. Not the ships that are necessarily around the planet, but other ships in the galaxy that are helping and part of the Alliance have taken some of the families and children's. But mostly they're on three particular planets, 𝗂𝗓, Maya, and another one that will not be named quite yet.
Yes, I understand completely. Good. I do feel as though a few of us have been spending time with them on Maya as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Maya is becoming a greater source of help for the Girk Fitneer Alliance.
Very good. Yes, thank you. I think I had a comment here about our government, but I think that we kind of covered that already for now. Perhaps we may come back to that one. Krellick did have a question as well. Dear Tekkrr, while I was meditating earlier today, I kept on getting an image of a skull. I'm not sure if this is something I conjured up myself or if it means something. Was there a skull in my meditation?
I'm not sure exactly what context you saw the skull in, but many people are seeing skulls these days. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It could be related to the crystal skulls that are being organized at this time to be brought together. It could be also about the different what is it? There is some changes in DNA, and the skull will be involved in that. And that is part of what is coming in the future. You see, now children are being born with higher IQs on your planet, with greater hybridization, and actually some are actually hybrid aliens that are being born. So therefore, you're going to find some skull differences at this time. So the skull has many different thought processes, in the sense that it could be an image of any of these things. Also, there are some dangerous times coming up, and sometimes a skull can be a representation or symbol of something unpleasant. But we're hoping that this is not the case. We are trying to keep things as peaceful as possible. So therefore, we are thinking that your vision of a skull, because you are with friendly aliens most of the time, is a sign that the children are evolving on your planet in a little different way than they were before.
Yes, thank you for that, Tekkrr. And there's actually been a few of us recently who seem to be connecting with the crystal skulls. A few of us actually had an experience with that yesterday together in a hangout. So I was wondering if you were even aware of that, or if you could tap into that.
I was not aware that you had a hangout about it, or were aware that
it was
the
just
skulls
part of it, yeah. I was just wondering if we experienced something similar, where many of us are starting to tap into these, the energy of these crystal skulls.
The skulls are key to the opening of the stargates and to the first contact idea.
Perfect, I understand. Oh, and I did miss a question from Jess444. Hello, Tekkrr. Can you please help me with an infusion to best increase my healing capabilities and offset my high reptilian percentage, 30%? What specific race of reptilian am I most connected with, and is this why I've had such a challenging life on Earth? Much love to you.
Yes. A high reptilian representation in the DNA can give a difficult life, especially starting at adolescence. You become out of control, your mind becomes fuzzy, your thought processes and decision-making abilities are inhibited, and it lasts for quite a while. It depending on how much that particular hormone of reptilian comes through you is how much it does affect your life. Now, it will calm down as you become older. However, I do not know how many years you went through the reptilian adolescence. 30% is very high. There are only a few people on Earth that have that high of reptilian actually born into them. So, and I only know one other person that I can think of that has that high of reptilian, and 5% of their DNA is also draconian. So, yes. Yes, that is very possible why your life has been very rough. What was the other part of the question?
I think that was the gist of it here. Let me just double check real quick. And that was just wondering if that was why has been such a challenge for them here on Earth.
Yes, that is why.
Yes, okay. And Sarah wanted to... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Also, they'll find a very strong disconnect with third dimension if they have a lot of reptilian in them or a lot of alien in your system, because you're from a different lifestyle and a different culture in your last life. And so, therefore, you will find a great disconnect and a great misunderstanding with how third dimension should be handled.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Thank you for that, Tekkrr.
Yeah.
Our friend Sarah Oxidine wanted to know, she had a dream this week that many of the Hucolo members were together in a beautiful paradise area having a great time. Where were we? And actually several of us, I think, have had the same dream experience in the last week or two. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. Fourth dimensional energy is becoming stronger and stronger every day. It may not seem like there is a lot going on as far as unusual activities. However, those with high fourth dimensional energy in their minds are moving into a positive frame naturally so that they can handle the fluctuation of the energy in the fourth dimensional cloud that is coming. Therefore, these people are having illusions of paradise so that this will offset some of the fluctuations of the fourth dimensional energy.
Thank you.
Tekkrr. Thank you. Go ahead, Sarah, Sabrina.
Thank you, Tekkrr. Michelle, would you like to ask?
Oh, thank you, Sabrina. Hi, Tekkrr. How are you?
I am very well, thank you.
I'm very glad. So it keeps popping into my awareness that I'm supposed to ask you something with regard to Evan, my son. There's something,
Yes.
I'm not sure why, but you probably do have something for me.
One moment, please. I know that he is he has a lot of alien DNA within him,
Yeah.
but he is pushing through that now. He is being affected by fourth dimensional energy cloud as well. And this is causing some erratic behavior. And it will calm down eventually, but right now it is hitting him in a way that is very different.
Is he experiencing maybe something that shows him that what I talk about has some truth to it?
He is definitely coming into contact with this energy, yes.
Excellent. Very cool. Thank you. Much love.
Very well. Much love.
Hi, Tekkrr. Gabriel had a question. He wanted to know if you had a message for him and how come he's not able to feel you anymore.
Gabriel is going through a third dimensional shift. Also, with the fourth dimension, he is also experiencing some changes. It will come back eventually, but right now there's some things that he needs to connect with in third dimension and become part of that are very necessary for his growth. So therefore he will not be able to hear many of the alien voices that he heard before. At this point, he is still growing and moving forward. Do not be discouraged. This is a necessity for you. You will discover the reason why later when you come out of this particular third dimensional move. You are to be important, of course, in many ways, but you must go through this to experience some of the lessons before you become greater. Does that make sense to you? Oh, I'm sorry, he is not here.
No,
But it should make sense to him that the third dimension is very strong with him right now.
yes, I can see it also. And I think it's very good for him.
I agree. This is a time of interesting grounding. What I'm talking about is that he's not ever been grounded like this before, and he is starting to become more involved in the third dimension and learn about it in a way that he needs for future reference.
Correct. I totally agree with that statement. Yes. Let's see. Who was next? Oh, Sheer was next.
Hello, Tekkrr. How are you?
I am very well. Sheer, how are you?
I am very well. I want to ask you about something called alpha brain. It's it's something that composed out of different kinds of herbs, and when people take it before going to sleep, they are reporting that they have lucid dreams. is it possible for us to take, let's say, Alpha Brain before we go to the colonies and have a greater recollection of our visit there?
Alpha Brain. I believe we call it another compound. However, yes, this particular compound will help you remember the colonies if you do take it. Be cautioned. It is not something you should use a lot. It does enhance some areas of the brain that have not been accessed. Therefore, you do not want to over-access the brain too quickly. The stimulation will cause delusionary thoughts as well. You might, when you use the right dosage, it will bring you into a realistic thought processes, lucid dreams, and greater understanding of the fourth dimensional beings and places. However, if you overuse it or use it incorrectly, it could also cause disillusion.
Yes, I know. There are script how to use it. It's something that a company makes. It's drugs-free and psychedelic-free. It's not something
Yes,
that makes
it is,
you...
but still, it is a stimulant to areas of the brain that are not yet open. Therefore, you must be careful with that. Opening certain parts of the brain too early can cause you to be unbalanced. Do you understand? These kind of experiences can throw off your grounding and balance into third dimension, because you'll get an idea that you'll be able to do things that are greater than what you will be able to do, and therefore put yourself in danger at some point.
I see, so just in the right amount each day for small doses.
Yes. Oh, what I'm saying is that you will be under the illusion that you have powers that are greater than what. Yes. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Also, there is something that is produced by seaweed, I think it's called. Something that helps to purify the pineal gland that you can also take. Is it also something that could help me with opening my third eye?
I am not sure what substance you are speaking of at this point. I do know of the other one, but this one I am not sure that I am aware of. At least not completely.
Okay, and is there any messages for me that you can give me?
Right now, I cannot give you the message that I have for you, because it's more of a personal nature. I will tell you on Tuesday or Wednesday when I see you.
Okay, thank you very much and much love. And also, would it be possible for me to go maybe side to side even in the meeting of September, the one that I'm going to be there?
It will never be site to site on the meeting, but we will be talking about that subject, yes.
Okay,
You will be there.
Thank you very, very much, and much, much love to you, Tekkrr.
Much, much love. 𝗂𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿. I'm sorry, I had to communicate something to a member.
Okay.
Continue.
Does anyone in the room with Tekkrr have any questions?
Is there anyone here that has a question? I just wanted to speak for a couple of moments before I leave.
Okay,
about
Tekkrr.
something that has come to my attention. It would appear that what you spoke of very early in this day about actions of people and how we can overcome them, or your people can overcome them. How we have overcome it is to realize that when people are given over to anger, you also give over your control. Do you understand that? You are no longer in control when you are angry. People stop listening to you when you are angry, in many cases, unless you are in front of a group of people and you are being emotional about a particular subject and they are really listening. But anger is usually a loss of control. This is something that your people need to learn. It is not a tool to cause them to be greater. It is not a tool to cause them to be more powerful. They may get what they want because they have to get, the people that they are yelling at have to give in because they are part of customer service or whatever it is. But to lose control with anger is to actually give up your own control. You have lost it. You have lost respect. You have lost control. You have lost the idea of what you are here for. Understand that anger is not the answer. That anger only temporarily will give you what you want, perhaps. You may feel better and powerful while you're being angry, but you're going to realize that it really did not accomplish anything except for to cause the problem to be greater. Is there any questions about this?
Yes. So when people feel angry, what do you think a process? Can you give us a process that can help
Yes.
with that in that moment?
In that moment, whenever anger strikes, you have to stop and evaluate what is happening. Why is that you're feeling angry? First of all, some people try to incite anger, and if you become angry, you're giving them the power. You give it right over. They have won. This is what they want to do. They wanted to make you angry, and they have succeeded, and you've given them your power. Do you understand that? So anytime that you are feeling angry, you must stop and decide or discover what it is about that situation that's causing the anger. Because many times it is a reflection of yourself. They are pushing on you a reflection of yourself, and you are giving them yourself and not actually responding to the actual stimulus. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, and oftentimes the anger, it's due to not being feeling like you're not being heard or understood.
Exactly. And therefore you have to approach it with love and understanding, because that is the only way that you will finally get to the final result. Anger will not get to the final result. It will only cause separation and removal and more hurt and many times complete separation from those that you once cared for.
Yes. Thank you, Tekkrr. I just have one more question from Liney. She's been very paying attention a lot to that fourth dimensional energy, and she had asked if the timelines that's bleeding into ours, it's a fourth dimensional one. Also on that timelines, are they? In other words, does that timeline have more fourth dimensional energy, and are they more alien aware?
No, what is happening is they have just as much fourth dimensional energy as you have in many ways. But what is happening is that as the cloud passes through, it's pulling them together because it is drawing the fourth dimensional energy closer to itself. So it's like as you come closer, it's pulling them together so that it can feed and give fourth dimensional energy to all these timelines, so they're all pulling together as this cloud comes through. Do you understand that? It's not that they have more energy, it is that the cloud is drawing on all the fourth dimensional energy that is within these timelines and pulling them closer so that it can, because it does attract its own energy.
Okay, because I think part of the reason why she's asking that is because she's wondering if perhaps in the other timeline, first contact, it's closer, and if as they merge, you know, as they come together, if certain events are going to bleed into this that might make first contact happen faster.
It is possible. We can see into the timelines to a certain extent. At this point, we do not see any first contacts in those timelines because we cannot look that far into the future. We do see that there is a timeline about 12 timelines out on your left side, if you want to say it that way, that has already had a small first contact.
Yeah, I would like to make it also a footnote here. On the day Ish had came, God was there with me, and he eventually left, but an angel gave me the message, and they were saying that this energy is meant as a positive thing for humanity.
Yes, it is.
For us to take advantage of it.
Those with high fourth dimensional energy will realize that if they stay calm during these periods, when this energy is flowing through, there will be some fluctuation, of course. But if they stay calm during this time, they will be able to perceive information from other timelines. And it might be a very informational and wonderful thing, because this will be a time that will not be experienced again for 237 million years.
Wow.
That's it?
That's it.
Yes. So I think, I mean, I had made a request to him to perhaps give us a time period where we could propel ourselves, and this might be that gift. So I do want to say to everybody, please take advantage of it with your meditations and your introspection.
𝗂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥𝐢𝐧𝐠. Yes. And 𝗂𝐡𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴. Oh, I'm sorry. Not everyone understands, but that is all right.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions, or should I go?
I think we are good.
I know there is other.
I have
you
a
have
couple
one?
from the event page, Sabrina. If you
Okay.
have a moment, if Tekkrr has time, briefly.
Do you have time?
Do you have time, Tekkrr?
I do have time.
Okay.
If you have time.
This is from Lewis Crowell. My daughter dreamed of being shot in Dallas. When she woke, she had not seen the news until she woke up the next morning. She could not move her arm. She is spiritual and attracts spirits so much, so she can't visit hospitals easily. After doing Reiki, her arm pain left, and she also saged her arm, smudged it with sage. She knew which officer she experienced after seeing the news. Do you think this is because of the fourth dimension influence?
It is partially because she's very spiritual. She is actually incarnate of an angel from her last life. Angels are now incarnating and becoming part of the earth to help it with the ascension, holding energies and lights. She will be able to be very psychic in the sense that she is so empathic that it could be very harmful to her. So therefore, put some protection around her and put some light around her so that she is not so influenced by these things. Also, she will, since it was so apparent that she was being affected by it, she did some very strong healing work in that scenario. She sent some very strong healing, and that is why she could not move. The energy she sent was sent directly from her body. It paralyzed her. But she was so empathic and cared so much about the feelings of those that were involved. She sent out her energy in a very strong way to those that were there.
Excellent. Thank you, Tekkrr. That was beautiful. So that's good to know that there was more angelic energy among us as well. I think many of us are feeling it.
It's necessary to hold the beginning of the ascension. It's like a thumbtack at the beginning here, to hold it so that it does not pull out.
And do you have any messages for all of us in general, or any of us, I mean for our particular group, as far as, you know, I know we're all following our joy and our energy and kind of being guided where the healing is needed. Is there anything, I don't know, anything specific?
There are so many ideas. There are so many ideas that Hucolo people have had. It is a very strong group of people. There are some people within this group that are being led to be leaders. As time will go on, you will see what I mean. But the ideas and the congregation and community that is here is unique to the world, and you will soon discover how unique. But that is all I can tell you right now.
Thank you. That was actually a perfect and beautiful answer. Thank you so much for being here. My love to you, Tekkrr. We all love working with you. Thank you for what you're doing for us and with us. We really appreciate it. Okay, great. And I believe Sabrina has one as well.
There's one more question here.
I would like to, I would like, if you could, to address what happened in the camera when I was in the store. And maybe it could happen to other people as well. When I was in the store and I was looking at myself on the monitor, and I noticed whereas everyone around me looked very normal, and I had some strange discoloration on my face. If you could kind of explain, and maybe that's happened to other people too, and if they could look out for it.
I see. Yes.
It has. Other people have explained that.
It was very, very noticeable. Well, let me explain the situation. I'm not sure that you know who David is, but David is not a human. David is from another planet. He is from Maya. He was the prince there, but he has discovered that he needs to be here for the ascension. Therefore, when he did look in the mirror at this point, it showed his Pleiadian image in the mirror. It was not a human image. If you would look at the photo, you would see that it is not retouched, and it's not shadows or anything of that nature, but it is what he actually looks like on his planet to some extent. So therefore, it's proof that he is here. And those people that can see these things will know that they are also from other places and are here for a purpose of the ascension and to help the rising of the planet. Do not be upset if you do witness this in yourself. You see, before he even witnessed it, he knew that he was from the Pleiadian planet Maya. However, when he saw it, it was a confirmation. We have photographs of it. It is very interesting that the fourth dimensional energy was pulled down from the head into the feet, and therefore exposing the actual look of the Pleiades.
Tekkrr,
Do you have
regarding
any
that,
more
I was just going to say
Okay.
regarding that, was the image that we saw with Jim on the mountain in Arkansas, were we looking at the Earth or were we looking at something else?
You were looking at a replica of something else that was put there on the Earth by the Atlanteans or the Lemurians. We're not sure which.
Okay, we thought it was the Lemurians. Thank you. Jim and I both felt it immediately, and I was just now guided to ask that because, so given this, and that's outstanding information, given that then, what people are seeing in themselves as they're seeing themselves, their faces morph like in the mirror, is that what they're seeing as well? Are they, okay.
It depends on the person. Some are here to be very helpful. Others are scrying and seeing themselves as other people. Do you understand that? It is a matter of knowing if that is who you are in the mirror or if you have scried that image.
Makes sense.
Thank you for that amazing information. That's wonderful, David. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Tekkrr, I have a question from Paula. And she wants to know, she says, is the idea of ascending into the dragon offered as a positive or negative?
I do not know of this particular phrase, ascending into the dragon. Can you give me a little background?
That's all she typed, so perhaps next time she can...
I will look into that because I would not want to give any incorrect information. And I am not aware of that particular wording.
Yeah, I had never heard of it either before. So
there are so many different things on your planet that need to be looked into. Ancient thoughts and ancient rituals and ancient thought processes that we are not aware of all of the things. We are trying to keep abreast of those things that are most potent and most realistic to this time and age.
Yes. Tekkrr, I had a crystal skull that kept calling me. From what I sense, it seemed to be one of the original ones. I was wondering if you could tell me anything about that.
Are you still in possession of this skull?
No, I don't have it, but
where is it now?
I kept seeing it. I kept seeing it with my third eye, and it kept calling to me. It's somebody else has it, but it wants to be with me. And this person I know, he's holding it, like storing it, more like to admire it.
Yes, it's authentic. I can see it through your third eye.
So I've been trying to locate it. I just haven't been able to.
It is within a 300-mile radius of you.
Okay.
Can we locate it together with our minds?
You probably could. I cannot. I am not permitted to guide you to it because that is one of the keys to the stargates that the Earthlings must open themselves.
Okay. So I will find it eventually? Is that what you're saying?
I am hoping that you will. If it is destined that you find it, you will.
Yeah, because he kept, for a while, he kept calling me and calling me and calling me.
Yes, I cannot give you any more information on that because you must find it yourself.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tekkrr.
There are others who want to come in. Is it time for them?
Yes. So thank you for all the information that you gave us today and for coming, for taking your time to be here. for helping with the earth, for helping with the weather. We didn't ask how that's going, but we'll leave that for another time. And I do want to say we appreciate all the work that is being done. So, from all of us to you, thank you from our heart.
Thank you. And I appreciate all your energies that are helping as well. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Much love, Tekkrr. Much love.